Okay, we are rolling. Champions of Champions boxing talk. Well, it looks like it's official. Eroll Spence and Mikey Garcia are about to fight. And I'm not sure what weight this is going to be in. I'm presuming it's going to be welterweight. Mikey Garcia go up. I don't think there's going to be any catch weight, but I'm just looking at a picture right here of the two guys and Lennox Lewis. And Lennox Lewis is massively bigger, obviously, than Mikey Garcia. But you know something? Eroll Spence doesn't look that far off Lewis in this picture. And compared to Mikey Garcia, Eroll Spence is absolutely huge. Huge. It's raining like crazy here in Manchester. No surprise, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go out and sunbathe in a minute. You know, it's called shower bathing really, but you know what I mean. Anyhow, there's a lot of people criticising this fight, and I've got to be honest, I'm sort of one of them. I mean, in a sense, I'm criticising Anthony Joshua for potentially looking to fight Usyk when you've got unfinished business in your own division in Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Why drag the little guy up, right? People know these little guys are keen for these fights because they're big money, right? They are keen for them. They ain't going to say no. But it's your responsibility when you've got unfinished business. You see, Eroll Spence has big-time unfinished business in his own division. Isn't Terence Crawford 2 fights into his welterweight career now and a champion? Isn't Sean Porter still there? Isn't Keith Thurman meant to be returning soon? You know, there are options for Eroll Spence, and this is what we get. Now, on paper, it looks a fantastic fight, doesn't it? And I can't blame Mikey Garcia. It's going to be a big event for him, and he's looking for greatness. This is a guy that's a champion in multiple weight classes. Pound for pound better than Eroll Spence. Let's just be honest. Can he win this fight? Yes, he's got skill, the class and the pedigree to do so. But I've often said, and people got carried away with Oscar De La Hoya and Manny Pacquiao, who just kept going up and up and up in weight and achieving great things, record-breaking things. And Sugar Ray Leonard and Floyd Mayweather, they also did it in 5 weight classes. The only reason that Floyd Mayweather's 5 weight class climb is not talked about, you know, at that much, is because of what Manny Pacquiao did, which was unprecedented, 8-division champion, and Oscar De La Hoya, 6 weight classes. But we must remember Floyd, Sugar Ray Leonard, Oscar and Manny does not translate to everyone. Do you know Ricky Hatton struggled just to climb 1 weight class? Look at Kell Brook after the Golovkin fight. Look at Amir Khan after the Canelo fight, right? Good fighters, great fighters, don't always transcend to the bigger weights. Not everybody can seem to do that. It's a mythical thing. Some bodies are just more acclimatized to gaining weight and losing weight and fighting in different weight classes than others. It's not always about skill set. It's about what you can handle, what your body can handle, right? And some people just can handle more than others. It's a fact. We are going to see big time. Here's the difference, though. See, Mikey Garcia is jumping right in at the deep end. A bit like Kell Brook did. A bit like Khan did. With one of the... He's not taking a... You know, he's not fighting Bradley Skeet. Mikey Garcia is not going up to fight Bradley Skeet. He's going to fight one of the top 2 or 3 best welterweights on this planet. And the welterweight that looks big enough to fight at light middleweight at that. Right? In Eroll Spence. Huge welterweight. He's a bigger welterweight than Kell Brook was. When those two stood side by side, Eroll Spence was the bigger man. So effectively, Mikey Garcia... You know, fought at 135 pounds not so long ago. He might be as well jumping up 3 weight. Well, 135, 40. 2 or 3 weight classes nearly, isn't it? You know, it's huge. And he's fighting the physical welterweight. Probably him, probably in a sense, Eroll Spence and Jeff Horn may be the most physical welterweights in the top 10. You know, the mauling, brawling type. Eroll Spence, when he beats you, it's not pretty. You know, he aims to break your ribs, break your solar plexus, make you pee blood for a week after, right? It's brutal when Eroll Spence wins. So if Mikey Garcia cannot handle Eroll Spence, it's not going to end well for him. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be like, can you imagine the night when Pacquiao fought Margarito? And you could imagine Manny Pacquiao being the favourite. But if Margarito got ahead of steam, it would have looked terrible on Manny. It wasn't like when Manny was fighting Mayweather. You know, bigger guy, but smoothly boxes his way to a decision. This is not the way Eroll Spence is. Mikey Garcia has got a very physically punishing fight ahead of him. Can he do it? Yes, the skill is there, but can he handle the physicality? That is the question. Eroll Spence, can he beat Mikey Garcia? Well, Mikey Garcia has to be on his game throughout all 36 minutes. Eroll Spence only needs a moment or two. Shots to the body will be more effective on a smaller man. Shots to the head, that Eroll Spence is kind of known less for, will be more effective on a smaller man. The stamina will be with Eroll Spence, because he can lean on Mikey Garcia in clinches and things like that, and it all tells on a smaller man. Unless the smaller man can avoid the clinches. And here's the difference. When you talk about a Lomachenko or a Pacquiao, they don't get into much clinching. You know, they're like Spider-Man bouncing all around the ring. It's hard to grapple them. But Mikey Garcia is more stationary. He's kind of more in front of you. He's going to have to sort of take, you know, the Lomachenko book in movement here. And even then, if his leg's slow, it's going to be difficult. But I don't blame Mikey Garcia. As I've said, he's daring to be great. If he pulls this off, he instantly becomes the king of boxing. He does. Right? Who else would have had a better feat than this? You know, Terence Crawford hasn't beaten Eroll Spence yet. And Mikey Garcia is a smaller guy. If he does it, to me, he is at least bare minimum in the top 2 pound for pound. Easy. Lomachenko, you have to hold your hands up. Within a couple of fights, he was world champion. Within a couple more, he was a 2-weight world champion. Within 10 victories, he's a 3-weight world champion. That's incredible. But Mikey Garcia will definitely be there. A lot of people are saying that Mikey Garcia's attitude to taking this fight is to avoid Lomachenko. They're comparing it with how Khan and Brook would fight bigger men but not fight each other. And almost get killed by other big men but avoid fighting each other, who were a little bit less dangerous than the guys they picked. Maybe there is something in that. But Mikey Garcia and Lomachenko seem to be getting on well as, you know, human beings and respect each other as champions. But of course, behind the scenes, one of the two might be thinking, I will never lose any credit losing to Eroll Spence. Which he won't. If he gets beat to Eroll Spence, people will only applaud you, just like they applauded Kell Brook and Amir Khan. You know, it's the test of limits that gets the supporters' respect in boxing. When you know a fighter's tested himself to the very best, you can't ask any more from him. That is just, you know, he's answered all the questions. He dared to dream. It didn't come off, but you know in your heart of heart that he's probably done something braver than 99% of the rest of the world. That's the perception anyway. I sometimes think, though, a real brave guy fights the best man in his own division. And that goes for, you know, potentially, Mikey Garcia fighting a smaller guy in Lomachenko and coming up short. Even if he did come up short against the pound-for-pound guy, he would lose no respect for me. But losing to the massive guy in Eroll Spence is just that little thing to hide behind. Why would I be avoiding Lomachenko when I fought this guy? I heard Kell Brook. I heard Amir Khan say the same thing. Why am I avoiding Kell Brook when I stepped in there with Canelo? I heard Ricky Hatton say, why would I avoid Junior Whittaker when I fought Floyd Mayweather? And you're thinking, well, for a start, you get paid an absolute fortune for fighting Floyd Mayweather. Of course you'd fight him. You know, he's more dangerous, but of course he's more reward. Of course, this is going to be massive pay-per-view numbers, I believe. Potentially equally as big. And the money, there's more money probably in the welterweight division than the realms that Lomachenko is fighting in. So it's a painful loss, but it won't do his reputation. The problem is, will it take his prime? That's the only concern. If Eroll Spence puts a beating on Mikey Garcia, who is not in his 20s, right? He's youngish now for boxing because they look after themselves much more. But he's not in his 20s. If this takes the spark off Mikey Garcia's career, takes the edge off his peak, then he's going down in weight class against faster guys. That's dangerous. We've seen this with Roy Jones. He went up in weight. When he come down, he was never the same. Will Mikey Garcia be like that? Only time will tell. But as I said, I'm not blaming Garcia. If there's a guy to blame, it's Eroll Spence. You had plenty of big fish in your pond, my friend, and you're picking this guy. And you'll have the cheek, if you win, to go around saying, I beat one of the pound-for-pound kings. Give me a break. That's the problem with this day and age. They forgot sometimes to give a smaller guy a little bit of a nod, right? There's people that still, you know, they forget that the Maypac fight was a bigger man via smaller man. And Pacquiao comfortably went the distance with a guy who looked at least 2 weight divisions bigger. Comfortably went the distance. It wasn't his best performance. I'm not saying that. Floyd won it clearly. But the guy went very easily the distance. Floyd Mayweather could have fought a couple of other 135-pound fighters in that sort of frame, and they wouldn't have gone the distance with him, even though Floyd is not a concussive puncher. That is literally like, it's where you are. Can you imagine if Roman Gonzalez went 12 rounds with Terence Crawford? As Max Kellerman pointed out once, that would need some credit. So if Mikey Garcia could say he gets to the distance, but loses a decision, he's still ranked pound for pound better than Eroll Spence. If he even competes with Eroll Spence, and it's a close competitive fight, size for size, Mikey is the better man, even if Eroll Spence edges a decision. Eroll Spence has got to beat this guy spectacularly. Otherwise, you're below him. I'm sorry. It's how you perform. If you are a little man, pound for pound, and you can perform well against a bigger man and lose a close decision, you're the better guy because they've got advantages you don't. That's just the nooks and crannies of it. But somebody's going to get hurt doing these weight climbs someday, right? Sooner or later, let's go back to unifying the divisions before we think about other divisions. And neither of these guys have done that. Eroll Spence is not undisputed welterweight champion. He's not. Neither is Mikey Garcia in his weight class. Usyk is. You know, and I'm even thinking maybe he should have one last fight at cruiserweight. Not go in the deep end and fight the best heavyweight straight away. Acclimatise to it. But again, Mikey Garcia is not having a tune-up against Bradley Skeet. He's fighting Eroll Spence. If he pulls it off, boy, is he respected. His courage is respected anyway. But it could go wrong very badly. That's all I've got to say. And I hope we do see one day boxing starting to have a little bit of sense, because not everybody can climb weight classes like Pacquiao did, or Oscar De La Hoya did, and so forth. Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Henry Armstrong. These were unique people. Henry Armstrong and the like, Sugar Ray Robinson, they are the definition of pound for pound. Not everybody is them. This is Champions of Champions Boxing Talk. We're all going to watch this. But will it be a farce or will it be a triumph? I'm out.